Right people, it's Dave Genvy here, aka Bad Boy Genvy, aka Satan, aka King David. Yeah, I'm King David, that's who I am. And I work for God in heaven. He's my boss. Satan, his boss is God, obviously, the Almighty. I don't work against God, I work for him. That's what you got to remember. So before you get scared that I'm Satan, the devil, don't be scared, because, yeah, I work for God, of course I do. And there has to be a hell. You need a hell, because there's a lot of people on this earth are pieces of shit who need to go to hell, to be tortured really fucking bad, to teach them the right way to live. One of my expressions I like to use is, torture is a great teacher. Torture is a great teacher. Yeah, said it twice because you might not have got it the first time. Some of you are really stupid. You just got to live a good life and you win the game of life. Live a good life, just be a good person. Do a job to contribute to society. You've got to do that. You've got to contribute to society. You can't be a layabout. God in heaven don't like lazy fuckers. You've got to work, give something back, do a job, basically, an honest, good job, and be a good person. But if you aren't them things, then you're going to go to hell. Simple as that. As I keep saying, the monkey men, you've got to get your money into Wisdomtree CRUD. There's crude.l on my iPhone. Crude.l. That's 5 years. That's the one you want. So the 5 year. This is catch on camera. 5 year. You see the price is going up. Yeah. Oh look, the no caller ID bitch is calling me. Yeah, this fairy boy is funny, man. Calls me all the time. No caller ID bitch. He likes getting a mention on our videos. I love taking a piss out of him, but it's actually helped me. We're going to talk about later on in this video how no caller ID bitch has actually helped me come up with some content for this video. You see, he loves calling me. Little fairy, I'll show you. But anyway, crud.l. This little bitch here, look. Look at all these. No caller IDs. Fairy boy bitch. I love taking piss out of him. But yeah, lizards are... The Lizard King is taking a shit on you. Crud.l stands for lizard. You need to get your money to Wisdomtree CRUD. He's trying to... King Charles at the minute. King Charles is absolutely fucking furious at God in heaven. And at me. I don't know what he's angry at me for. But he's furious with God. Because he's totally fucked up and he's going to hell. And now he's trying to keep these oil prices down for as long as he can. To try and make me look stupid. But they are slowly going up. Very, very slowly. But King Charles, I don't think is going to be around for that much longer. He was recently, the most recent time he's been seen, he went to Southport where there's some stabbings of some little girls. King Charles is the cunt that actually ordered those stabbings. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But let's pause this music. Pause that. Yeah, he was here, King Charles, at Southport, and he's walking around, you know. He's saying he went to greet the families. I didn't see that he greet the families of the victims. There's a crowd of people there for him. I mean, he looks fucking dodgy as fuck. He's got cancer. There's all flowers on the ground for these girls that have died. But what's happened? King Charles, because he's so pissed off at everything, in the fact he's going to hell, he's totally fucked. He's trying to... He makes orders to the reptilians, you know, reptile club. I'm not part of reptile club. I am actually, I've got reptilian parents. But because I'm Satan, I've never been allowed in their little club. I can't go green and scaly like they can. This is how I look. This is my look. But you will occasionally see little demons on my forehead. Sixes in my eyes, things like that, because I'm Satan. Like I say, you don't need to... If you're a good person, this is what you always need to remember. If you're a good human being, a good person, live a good life, you have nothing to fear from Satan. It's only the bad people that have to fear me. If you're a good person, you got nothing to fear. So you always remember that. You know, I'm a nice guy. But yeah, King Charles, he's so pissed off about everything to do with what's going to happen to him, in that he's going to hell in the fairly near future. I mean, he doesn't look that good, I don't think. He doesn't look that healthy. There's a funny shade of, his skin's a funny colour, and you don't look great. You look at him there. He's still upright, he's still walking around though. He's so pissed off about it. He's ordering the reptilians to do loads of stupid shit. Now, thankfully, most of them are they just ignore him. I tell us the stupid king who's bitter about how things have turned out for him is, oh, he's ringing me again, look. Fairy boy, we'll put him down there. Put him on the floor where he belongs. Put him at my feet. See my feet here? We'll put him at my feet where he belongs, innit? He's a little fucking bitter cunt. He's just someone who, the no caller ID bitch is just some fucking reptile green twat who's just bitter that he's fucking nobody in life, basically. He's just a piece of shit loser. And he blames me for some reason. It's Satan's fault. It's not my fault. It's, not like I say, not all the reptilians are bad. Monkey men, you must remember, not all the reptilians are bad. There's plenty of good reptilians. They're just good people. But there's a lot of bitter ones. And King Charles only lets the little cunts ring me who don't like me. And he only lets on my YouTube videos the reptilians that don't like me put horrible comments to me. That I just respond with stupid little rhymes back, taking the piss out of them. Or I just straight up slag them off. But yeah, King Charles is so bitter about all this. So fucking bitter because he's such a little pussy boy. That he's been ordering reptilians to do stupid stuff. And one of the things he ordered to be done was that Southport stabbing. One of the girls that died in that Southport stabbing was called B.B. King. That was her name. And it was in Southport. And I'm very into boxing. I'm into, you know, being a tough guy boxer and all of that. And I used to be at Southport. I was with Southport, and he ordered this stabbing to be done in Southport, right? Also because the British Royals' power was built on sailing, so Southport, and B.B. King, the little girl, one of the little girls who died. Well, there used to be a great blues guitarist who has now passed away called B.B. King. So you got B.B. King, the great blues guitarist, one of my favourite guitarists. And then this little girl here who died at the Southport stabbing called B.B. King. So what's happened is some stupid idiot has heard the orders of the king to go do this stabbing in Southport of B.B. King and whoever else is there. Other girls have died. These three died here. These three little girls. King Charles has ordered it, and then to his surprise, one of these stupid reptilian subjects, you know, one of his subjects in the UK, stupid idiot, has gone and done it. Probably because that stupid idiot is also bitter that Satan's turned up, God's real. I mean, the atheists aren't happy at the minute. The atheists found out they've been chatting a lot of shit for a very long time. There's quite a few of them that cheesed off about it. The thing is, you could have been an atheist and be a good person, and God would just look at you and think, well, you're an idiot, because obviously there's a God, but, you know, you've been a good person, even though you're an atheist, so you can still come into heaven. So it's not like, but obviously the atheism stuff needs to go in the bin now, because it's a load of shit, total excrement. I think King Charles had been an atheist, so he's, you know, gutted that he's found out it's all real, and he's done a lot of bad stuff. And he was the one who ordered that Southport stabbing. What I've said to the reptilians, I mean, the monkey men are just going to be in total shock about all this. I understand that it's very shocking for you. You just have to try and deal with it. What I've ordered the reptilians to do is at places where you've got nurseries and primary schools, you need to try and protect your children more with good, strong men. Because what happened, that stabbing, you know, there's just some young black guy, I think it's only a young guy, 17 or something. He's gone in with a knife and just been out to stab loads of kids, stab up an old man, and the woman that was there. They needed some big, strong man to be able to defend the kids there. Because, you know, you got these idiots out there, and you got a king in King Charles that's ordering very stupid shit. Like I say, most of it's been ignored by the reptilians. Most reptilians are just looking at their King Charles thinking, what an idiot. But they're still subservient to him. It's so bizarre. To a monkey man, it's so bizarre to think, well, why don't the reptilians speak out? Because you're not even supposed to know about the reptilians. They're so secretive. How they operate supposed to be so... You're not supposed to know they're green scaly lizards. You know, and they've evolved in a way that, just like an ant colony is subservient to the queen of the ant colony, the whole ant colony is subservient to that queen. That's how they've evolved. They're subservient to their king, or, you know, sometimes it's a queen. But when it's stupid stuff that's going to get them in a lot of trouble, like say the king says, right, you go jump off a cliff. The vast majority of them wouldn't do it because that puts their health in great danger, you know. They're going to die. So they won't follow all his orders, but some idiot followed those orders, probably to King Charles' surprise, and killed some little girls. But then King Charles, because King Charles just doesn't care anymore. He knows he's going to hell. He knows he's totally fucked. And he just wants to cause as much chaos and damage and suffering as he can before he fucks off to hell. That's how it is with King Charles. He's a complete disgrace of a man. Very cowardly man. I run my mouth no end about him. And he's done fuck all to me, really. He has that little fairy boy call me on the no caller ID. He does some other stupid stuff, like, it's just bizarre. It's bizarre that he'll have lots of things like, say I normally buy at the shop at the supermarket. He'll have them out of stock. They won't be there. Stuff like that he does. He does stupid stuff. It's pathetic. Like I say, we keep hoping once he is dead, Harry's going to work with us and start progressing the human race, making things a lot better. For everyone. There's a lot of people in this world, probably mostly monkey men, who've got a very low standard of living. But you have got to get new earths. That is a thing you've got to do. There's no way around that. And I'm the guy to sort of lead you into getting new earths. Actually, had an idea for guns. I don't know whether it would work. This is sort of a new invention of mine. With your machine guns at the minute, they overheat. So when you shoot a lot of ammo through them, they overheat. Say when you've got belt-fed ammo fed on a belt to the machine gun. If you fire the machine gun for too long, that barrel's going to overheat. You have a problem. You can eventually have the barrel fucking set on fire and melt and stuff. I was thinking possibly what needs to happen is the barrel, the steel barrel of the gun needs to be have a wooden sheath around the outside of it, a wooden sheath around it that slides over the top and is in contact with the steel. The wood is in contact with the steel. And then the thing about wood is it's a great absorber of heat. So hopefully what happens is the heat, and metals are good, the steel is a good conductor of heat. So what happens, hopefully, I don't know if this will work, there needs to be experiments done. The heat from the steel barrel gets absorbed by the wood, but the wood sheath around this barrel can't conduct the heat back into the metal, because wood is not a good conductor. It's a good absorber of heat, but it's not a good conductor. So I'm hoping that the wood acts as an absorber. It might also act as a suppressor as well. If you've got a wooden sheath, a thick wooden sheath around the barrel, it might act as a suppressor in terms of the sound, like a silencer. They call them suppressors for guns, to reduce the noise of the gun as well. It's an idea I had. See, that would be good then, because when you're on an alien battlefield, you can have a gun with belt-fed ammo, and if this wooden sheath idea, I call it heat sleeve, wooden heat sleeve. This wooden heat sleeve that goes around the barrel works. You'll be able to lay down constant fire. As long as you've got enough belt-fed ammo feeding into the gun, you'll be able to hopefully shoot the gun for much longer durations without the barrel overheating. That'll be really useful when fighting on an alien Earth. Because at the moment they have to shoot in like in bursts. They have to shoot a burst, wait, shoot a burst. At the moment what you're relying on is the steel barrel to be cooled by the air around it. You're relying on the air to cool the steel barrel. But I think it might be a good idea to use this wooden heat sleeve idea around the steel barrel, possibly. And that might absorb the heat better, but also not conduct it back into the steel. It might work, it might not. It's worth an experiment though. So that's an idea I've had for the gun, the arms industry, the military and stuff like that. That might be a good idea. But yeah, King Charles, piece of shit. His health don't look great at the minute. If you watched him at that Southport, he went to the Southport to supposedly meet the families. I didn't see him meet the families. Some walk around a bit. There was a crowd of people there. There's a load of flowers laid out for these children that have died, but I don't think the families wanted to meet him. Because he's a piece of shit that ordered it. It's just those families wouldn't have expected someone to actually go and do it. So this young black guy who's gone and killed these kids, no one expected him to go and do it. This is what I say, you got to protect your flipping children with big strong men. But obviously big strong men are at work. You need more big strong young men going into fucking nurseries. I've said this before. Kindergarten Cop, if you've ever seen that film, that's a great example of it. Arnold Schwarzenegger, big tough guy, but he cared about the kids and he was going to try and protect them. If anyone messed with them, So at the moment with these nurseries and all these places, your kids are very vulnerable because there's just women there to protect them. They can't do fighting. Women are shit at fighting. Usually, they're not. You occasionally get some tough woman at fighting, but not very often. They're usually terrible at it compared to men. So, yeah, it's terrible. Something I want to talk about next is Roman crucifixion. I want to talk about Roman crucifixion in detail. Well, more detail than what you've probably had before. So we're going to talk about that next, because that's what I intend to do to the guy who stabbed up them girls. The guy who stabbed up them little girls at Southport. Once I'm in power, I intend to have him crucified, Roman crucifixion style. And Roman crucifixion is quite a brutal, horrible way to go. So we're going to talk about that now. On something I just wanted to talk about before I move to talking about Roman crucifixion. At this Southport, commemoration of these children that died with the flowers, King Charles was there, but there's no sight of Camilla. There's no sight of her, so she must be either very ill or dead, because she should have been there really. She weren't there. In the media, they might try and portray it as Camilla and King Charles are having a bit of a tiff at the moment. They're falling out. But the truth is, I think she's either very ill or dead, because God in heaven's hitting them with you know, the mind powers to kill them off, because they're just no good, bag of shit. Right, anyway, let's talk about Roman crucifixion. The Roman Empire was founded on violence, on very scary men being violent. And then as the popes and Christianity came in, it began to soften, and then you got the Roman Empire transitioning to the Holy Roman Empire under the popes, and it all went a lot softer, and then eventually they lost their power to the British royals, who you know, the British who were good at sailing. But I mean, for example, the archaeologists, they don't know that much. There's things they don't know, like, for example, it's not spoken about, but the Romans, they'd go out to battle, they'd kill a load of people in battle, and then they'd chop those people up and eat them. So the Roman legions, soldiers, were fueled on human flesh. That's just a fact. You know, so something like that, you don't get taught that in these history documentaries on the Roman Empire. The soldiers would feast on the human flesh to fuel them for the next battle. So that's a thing. But, you know, they weren't just the Romans doing that. So, but with crucifixion, it's not really that well known how it was done. I think because it's possibly the popes, the Roman Catholic Church, have maybe tried to cover it up, how brutal it was, because they wanted to try and soften the image of the Roman Empire, change it to the Holy Roman Empire, and just make the whole thing softer. So we know from this archaeological find, this is a heel, this is a guy's heel, and this is a nail through it that is bent off at the end. So that's a guy. This is a guy's heel who got crucified. It's actually, I think it was this guy here. This is his remains. So he's got nailed through the heels, right? This idea that you get nailed through the hand or through the wrist, I don't think that happened, because you got arteries in the wrist. The Romans wanted you to be up on the cross, and you're up on that cross because you've committed some bad crime against the Roman Empire. And they want you to be on that cross and suffer for a long time. So they're not going to nail you through the wrist, where there's the potential for hitting arteries and you bleeding out and having a quick death. So your wrists would be tied. And, you know, the idea of nailing the hands. They might have whacked a nail into the hands just for good measure through your hand. But you see that your hand can't really hold any weight. Do you get what I mean? So they'd also hit nails through your elbow. So this is a guy who's got crucified. This is a body. I don't know if you can see this. The video is found crucified skeleton, Rome. It's on YouTube. History dose. With this body, they found 12 nails. And you can see a hole just there on his elbow. There's holes in his lower spine. There's a hole in his kneecap, right? There's probably a hole through the side of this knee, possibly. They might have nailed that knee. And there'll be holes in his heels. He would have been nailed through his heels. There's actually, they found 12 nails through them. So imagine you've got a pole, and you've got another pole to go across, the cross, this wooden cross, poles. The soldiers, or whoever the executioner is to nail you up onto that cross, they've got a bag of nails, they've got a hammer, they're going to tie your wrists to the cross, they might tie your ankles, and then nail your heels, they nail through the heel, nail through here, right, through the wood. The nail would come through into the wood, and then they bend it off. I'll show you the picture see how the nail's been bent off. I think they'd bend it off deliberately. The reason they do that is so the nail goes through your heel, through the wooden pole, and then they hit off the end, bend the end of the nail, so you can't pull your heel off. Do you get what I mean? You can't pull it off the wood. I think they nail you through the back as well. So they nail your elbows. Now probably nail through your shoulders. I don't know if you can see any holes on the dude's shoulder. Looks like it might be. Hang on, make it big. There might be something there. I'm not sure. They might have nailed through the shoulder. But I definitely think they've nailed through the elbow there. You definitely see a hole there. You see holes in the spinal column. And there's definite holes through that kneecap. So I think how it's gone down, they've put his heel, they've nailed one heel in on a pole, nailed in the other heel on a pole, nailed through a kneecap, bang, 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 couple of nails through there, possibly put a nail through the side of this kneecap, because this ankle's a bit higher, this knee would have been bent, so might have put a nail through the side into the pole there as well. They've nailed the elbows, probably the shoulders as well, possibly, not entirely sure on that. And then they've flipped him over, and also he's tied at the wrist and nailed through the back into his lower, the big bones at the bottom of the spinal column. Got big bones at the base of your spinal column there, and nailed you through your back onto the pole. Gone through the wood of the pole, then through the lower spinal column, bang. And if you go into if the nail's stabbed into your intestines, lower intestines, it doesn't really matter, does it? Because you're not going to bleed out from that. And that's how crucifixion's done properly. Now this guy's legs weren't actually broken. You see the shin bones, they're not actually been broken. This idea that there's this idea that the Romans would break the shins so you then suffocate, you can't breathe on the pole. This idea they'd break your shins so you'd suffocate. Well, it didn't happen with this guy. It's more likely, once they've nailed your knees in, they've nailed your lower back in, they've nailed your shoulders and elbows in. They're just whacking nails anywhere, really, just to nail you up to that cross, but also so that you don't bleed out. They don't want to hit an artery. Yeah? So they're whacking nails in to you, just a bit haphazardly, I suppose, nailing you in at the joints. Once they've gone to all that trouble, they don't just want you to then suffocate on the cross. The only reason they're going to break your shins is to add insult to injury. It's just to add extra pain. So we're going to break your shins. You're nailed in all over the place, haphazardly nailed in all over the place. We're going to break your shins now just to add a bit of extra pain to you, and you're just going to hang on this cross till you're dead, and you'd probably die of thirst or cold or something. That's how crucifixion properly worked under the Roman Empire. This idea, a bit like I say, you would have been tied at the wrists, but the rest of it was just been, a good number of nails just hammered into your joints of your body, really, and your lower back by the looks of it. So it's a pretty bad way to go. And you would have been whipped up first. You've been whipped up badly as well. And that would have been savage. So it's not something you want to experience. But you'd only get that under the Roman Empire if you'd done something really bad. You'd have to have done something bad. You'd have to have really pissed them off. So, and that's what I think. This guy who done the Southport murders of those little girls, that's what he needs to get. The Roman crucifixion needs bringing back, because it acts as a deterrent to people from doing bad things, from misbehaving, because you're going to get that, and then you're going to get hell after you're going to get tortured in hell, really fucking bad. So yeah, that's hopefully cleared up for the archaeologists. Some people are interested how crucifixion worked under the Roman Empire. Like I said, I think it might be the popes who kind of, not the current pope, but previous popes, you know, going back centuries, who've tried to cover it up, how brutal it was, to try and soften the image of the Roman Empire, not make it look as quite as terrifying. So I think that's what the case is there. This channel used to be a mountain bike channel. I don't actually do mountain biking anymore, just because I'm busier doing other things. But something that's a big problem in mountain biking, particularly top level mountain biking, big events like Red Bull Rampage. Here's a massive mountain biking event where guys are doing huge, you see this huge jump the guy did then, Brandon Semenek, he's a great rider. See this huge jump, he did a massive backflip, bang. What's often happening in that sport, in these big competitions where they're doing big jumps, is the tyres, the mountain bike tyres on the rim of the bike are blowing off the rim. So what happens, this guy Brandon Semenek, professional rider, he lands his big jump. Doesn't always happen, but sometimes it happens. He does his big jump and then the back tyre will take such a heavy impact. Could also happen on the front tyre, but it's often the back tyre will take such a heavy impact as it hits the ground, it will blow off the rim. Now, something that's been a complete fuck up in mountain biking, and I'm going to help them, is they need a steel bead on the tyre for mountain biking, top level mountain biking. So on a car tyre, on a tyre of a car, you have a steel bead that goes around the edge of the tyre. Steel bead in here. Obviously, steel is a really strong material, and you have to have if you've been to a car mechanic's garage, you will have seen they'll have a machine called a tyre changer. One of these car mechanics use them all the time to take tyres on and off rims, because to do it by hands would probably be impossible. I don't know, because you've got that steel bead. But as it is in mountain biking, the tyres just have a rubber bead. So the tyre itself is rubber, and then the bead that goes around the edge is just rubber, so that your average mountain biker can easily put the tyre on and off the rim. Now the thing is, for your average mountain biker, that's fine, because you're not doing massive jumps. I mean, the biggest jump I did was like 20 foot. I couldn't do any bigger than that. But these guys who are doing jumps that are far bigger, big massive drops, that I shudder at the thought how big they are, because if they go wrong, you're really in trouble. But obviously they're professionals, they know what they're doing. They're taking such a heavy impact because the drop's so much bigger, or the jump's so much bigger. The rubber tyre with the rubber bead is blowing off the rim, so they need tyres with a steel bead, just like you get on cars. Obviously, you have this steel bead on a car because there's so much weight in a car. You think you've got a car, you've got 4 people in the car, you've maybe got you've got the engine up front, which weighs a lot on the front wheels. You need a steel bead on the tyres to keep the tyre on the rim. And in top level mountain biking, and for any guys that are doing really big jumps, they probably need that, and they probably need a tyre changer like that, but for mountain bike tyres making, so they can put those rims. Like I said, it'd only be for the top professionals really doing the massive jumps who need it. If you're doing massive jumps, then you need it then, because say you're on a race run, I've seen it time and again, we've got a guy having a great run at, say, something like Red Bull Rampage or something like Hardline. That's another Red Bull event for mountain biking. and they're having a great run, and then suddenly they'll do a big jump, land it fine, but the tyre blows off the rim, and obviously then the run is completely sabotaged, and that could have been a winning run. And you know, this is about people's careers here. This is, you know, if you're a professional mountain biker, you know, that's important that you get to, you know, your equipment doesn't let you down and you get to the bottom of the hill. Also, not to mention, that could lead to a big crash that's not the rider's fault. It's the equipment isn't made right. So events like that, they definitely need that steel bead on the tyres for high level mountain biking. And they're going to need a mountain bike tyre changer as well. But yeah, these are all things they can do. So there's an invention from Satan to help out the mountain biking industry. That's me giving back to mountain biking. There you go. Now we're going to talk about corruption in the tech industry. I'm going to show you a couple of guys. These two guys here. Let's get a picture on that. There you go. There's a good picture. Right. These are the Google men. The men who started Google boys, whatever. And then you've got this guy who's called Tim Cook. And he's the CEO of Apple. So they're the Google guys. They've distanced themselves from Google now. They're not actually... suppose they're not at the company anymore or something, but they'll still control it. They've got another CEO, some Asian guy at Google, but those two will control it from behind the scenes, I think so. And what's been happening is since Steve Jobs died, you might know who Steve Jobs is. He was the head of Apple for a long time, and then he died from cancer. Since he died, Tim Cook got appointed as his successor. So this guy, Tim Cook, was the guy appointed as his successor. And unknown to pretty much anyone, you know, I don't know how many people knew about this. Tim Cook, I'm pretty confident, has been on the payroll from the Google boys. So Google have been paying Tim Cook secretly money to deliberately, surreptitiously, in a very stealthy way, in a secretive, stealthy way, to damage Apple as a company. And you see it in the iPhone. Now, what alerted me to this was the guy, the no caller ID guy who always rings me, some little reptile bitch who's just got an issue with me for reasons unknown. He probably jealousy mostly. That's usually what it is. With King David, usually what people hate, they're just jealous of me, often. But I've got plenty of flaws. I'm not perfect, so I don't know why they're jealous. There's plenty of things they can do better than me. But that no caller ID guy, because he was calling me all the fucking time, and I use my phone a lot to make videos, like selfie videos, where I'm hashing out my ideas for these YouTube videos. So every week I'm throwing ideas together on my iPhone, hashing out ideas, thinking about things, talking, like sort of like thinking out loud. And I use my videos to talk to myself. I use my selfie video camera on my iPhone to talk to myself as I do it, and then I draw up like a video plan. Like I've got this video plan here. As I get ideas on my iPhone through the week, I then put some bullet points down of what I want to talk about on these YouTube videos. As a monkey man, you won't get to see my iPhone videos, but the reptilians do. But you get the main important stuff in these YouTube videos. But anyway, this no caller ID guy was ringing me again and again and again, and he still is, you know, he's always ringing me. And I was trying to video, and When you're not actually recording, you're just looking at the selfie camera, almost using it like a mirror. You often see, if you ever gone on a train in the morning to work, you often see women using their selfie camera on their phone to sort of do their hair or do their makeup, using it like a mirror. Every time he'd ring me, the screen would go blurred. And then I started thinking about it. I started thinking, well, why does it do that? Why at Apple have they programmed that in? And I also started thinking about something I've always been puzzled by with Apple and iOS and the iPhone is iMessage. The text messaging service on the iPhone doesn't have a draft feature. It's a glaring omission that the iPhone doesn't have the draft feature that Android has. It's a really useful feature. If you've got a number of texts you need to reply to, but you can't reply to them all at that time, it's very useful on Android to be able to make a little note on the messages. You know, just type a couple of letters and then just set it as a draft, so then you can come back to it later when you've got time, a bit of spare time, and reply to them all. You can't do that on the iPhone, and it's a glaring omission that the CEO of Tim Cook hasn't put into the iPhone. And it's so glaring that I'm accusing Tim Cook of taking money from the Google boys, Larry and Sergey, to deliberately not evolve the iPhone. It's like the iPhone hasn't evolved a great deal since the death of Steve Jobs. And I think the reason for it, one, it's about money. Obviously, Tim Cook gets more money because if he's getting money from Apple as the CEO of Apple, you know, he's a very rich man. He's a billionaire. He's getting money from Apple. He's also getting money from Google as well. He's getting 2 paychecks. You get me? So it's about money, but it's also, I think, in terms of Tim Cook, probably because Steve Jobs wasn't very nice to him. Steve Jobs had a reputation of being a guy that could be very caustic in his criticism of people. He'd be quite nasty, quite stinging with his criticism of his employees. And I suspect that with Tim Cook, he just thought, well, once Steve Jobs has died, I'm now being appointed CEO of the company. I'm going to gradually, from the inside out, kind of damage this company. I'm not going to evolve its products. We're going to see how your products stand the test of time. Steve Jobs, you twatters, you know, he's dead. And obviously they won't, because no product stands the test of time, really. Not, well, maybe some products do, but obviously the Android's there being evolved by Google, yet the iPhone's not really. And it's Tim Cook. He's deliberately doing it. He's deliberately doing it because he's on the payroll from the Google boys, and he wants to sabotage the company. Sort of kill, or gradually, I suppose, poison Steve Jobs' baby, because Steve Jobs was very passionate Apple boss who wanted, you know, the company to always do absolutely brilliant and make brilliant products for its customers. And you know, he will have viewed Apple in a very, it would have been a company that's very, he was very emotionally close to that company. He loved that company. And Tim Cook obviously hates Steve Jobs and wants to see that company struggle, you know, given enough time. But he's trying to destroy the company from the inside out in a very sort of stealth ninja way by not evolving the products. And it's terrible. It's really bad. I mean, but highly illegal, because as the CEO, Tim Cook is supposed to do what's in the best interest of Apple shareholders. So it's highly illegal. There's any, you know, proof of it, you know, if it gets proven, my theory, I'm pretty sure I'm right. He's in a lot of shit legally. As for the Google boys, I still think they shouldn't be doing that. I mean, I still see that as illegal for them. Because what are they trying to create? A monopoly for Google on the smartphone or something? I mean, there must be some laws they're breaking there. Because they, in a way, you could view it like they're doing what's in the best interest of the Google shareholders in trying to pay off the CEO of Apple to deliberately not develop the products, not evolve the products beyond the days of Steve Jobs. So they're kind of doing what's in the best interest of Google to try and destroy their competitor. I mean, I think with those Google boys, those pair of geeks, Larry and Sergey, little bitches, I think with them, they just didn't like Steve Jobs and the fact that he was the big I am in Silicon Valley. And he couldn't actually do coding. Steve Jobs can't code. You know, like a lot of these guys like Bill Gates and probably, you know, Larry and Sergey, they can code. They can write computer code. Whereas Steve couldn't. He got other people to do that for him. He was just great at marketing, sales. Yeah, he had lots of other talents that you know, these other guys didn't have. And I think Larry and Sergey, they kind of want to topple Apple and be the kings of Silicon Valley. And Larry and Sergey get films made about them. You know, like Steve Jobs he's had 2 films made about him. There's the one with Ashton Kutcher, I think that's how you pronounce his name. And there's one with, is it Michael Fassbender? I think that's his name. There's a couple of films made about Steve Jobs. And I think the Google boys want to be killed top of Silicon Valley, so they get films made about them. But the way I look at them, I just look at them as a pair of bitches, to be honest. Doing underhand things like that, I don't know. I don't think it's great, to be honest. I don't think it's a great look from the Google guys. There's other things they do I don't like. I mean, once I'm Roman Emperor, these geeks will be kept on a very tight leash by me. Because what's happened under King Charles, he's an older guy, probably not that into tech. He does stupid things, King Charles. You know, you got like every time you go on a website, almost every time you go on a website, it says, "Do you accept cookies? Do you accept cookies?" It has it all the time, doesn't it? Like King Charles will be the twat who's put that in because he thinks it's funny. Do you accept cookies? Do you want your cookies? You know, cookies like you eat, like a biscuit. He's done that to be funny. You've got to realise, if you're using electronic devices, whether it's your phone, your computer, whatever, you're under surveillance. You know, it's just a surveillance society to catch people that are doing bad things. But you just got to accept that. You don't need to have to click, do you accept cookies every time? That's just King Charles's idea of a practical joke. Because King Charles is a fairy boy, a bitch. Do you know what I mean? He's a little fucking fairy boy, a bitch. Lizard bitch king is what he is. But once I'm Roman Emperor, I'll run these geeks proper. They won't fuck around under me. Because if they do, they'll get their fucking legs broke. Simple as that. I'll fucking really beat them up badly. I don't give a fuck. You can have all the money in the world, but if your face is kicked through the back of your head, it's not much use to you, is it? Because I want what's in the best interest of the people. And for the iPhone not to be being developed because Tim Cook's on the payroll from Google is terrible for Apple customers. He's a piece of shit. This dude here is a piece of shit. And it's all because his emotions got a bit fucking hurt under Steve Jobs, fairy boy mincer, and also he's taking the extra money as well. Larry and Sergey, they're a pair of twats. They've got a fucking god complex. They think they're God or something. I don't know what the fuck. They need their fucking faces kicked in, I think. Well, they might need to do prison time, whatever. That may sort them out. Because the problem is, if you start doing that, you get a company like Google, very powerful, wealthy company, starts just paying off CEOs to perform badly, deliberately. Then that kind of destroys the competition in capitalism. You see what I mean? And then you just get one big company running it all. We don't want that. You want competition, to be fair and competitive. And CEOs of big companies trying to outthink each other, outdo each other, come up with better products, better services, because then who benefits? The people benefit. So Larry and Sergey are in the wrong. And I'm sure it's illegal what they've done. It must be some laws broken somewhere. But Tim Cook, it's definitely illegal. Because he's supposed to do what's in the best interest of shareholders for Apple. And he hasn't been. Piece of shit. He'll present the fucking image of, oh, I'm just an innocent, sweet old man. Yeah, fuck off, Tim Cook. I'll call you the Cookie Monster. You're a piece of shit. Tim Cook the crook. So there you go. There's something that's probably a bit shocking to you that you didn't expect. I'm doing another guitar lesson now. This is, I think, the 8th lesson. I'm just doing this lesson because I don't think I covered absolutely everything. So I'm just going to do a lesson occasionally if there's anything else I think of to help particularly young players out. I want to help out the young kids play guitar better. Something that I hadn't thought of until this week about guitar playing are guys who've got bigger hands. I've got quite big hands. Are guys who have big hands, do they have a natural physical advantage for playing guitar? I still don't actually know, but I think they might. I mean, looking at some great guitarists, there's Eric Clapton when he was young. Big hands. B.B. King, he had some big hands. Jimi Hendrix, his hands look flipping huge. So yeah, I think it helps. I mean, that picture shows it really. That's Jimi Hendrix. I think it might be advantageous if you've got big hands, which would then possibly put women at a disadvantage, maybe, on guitar. If you've got big, strong hands. I don't actually know. It might be, it might not be. So if you're a little kid who's doing guitar and you're 11, 12, be aware of this, that, you know, your hand is going to get bigger as you get older. So in 10 years from now, you have bigger, stronger hands that might aid your playing. I always recommend not to overplay. Don't play for hours on end. Just play for a bit till your hand gets really tired. Then have a rest. A couple of days rest maybe, and then come back to it. Because if you overplay, you know, I don't know if that would stunt the growth of your hand or something. If you're playing too much. Because playing guitar on your fret hand is quite hard on the hand that, you know, works the fretboard. You know, I get blisters on my fingers sometimes, skin coming off. You want to try to avoid that. Don't play too much. So that's something I wanted to say. But I've seen some great women guitarists with smaller hands. So I could be wrong on it. I don't know. Now I'm going to show a little clip of me playing guitar, and then I'm going to tell you basically how I played like that, to try and give some tips, a bit more tips on lead solo. The guy who actually inspired me to do this 8th guitar lesson was the no caller ID bitch. The guy who keeps ringing me on the no caller ID. He sometimes plays guitar for me. He's not that bad on guitar, he's okay, but his lead solo stuff doesn't sound that great. His rhythm guitar's not too bad, you know, where he's strumming chords and stuff, but I don't know. In my opinion, his lead soloing is not so great, so I'm going to try and give you some help, and I'll give you a little trick here on I'll play the clip, and then I'll give you a little trick on how I did it. How I did this guitar soloing. Video in for all the budding guitarists. See, I'm on there, and then I just go. Now, let me focus on. Let's sit weird here. Yeah, there's one.
single string. What's hard about that?
So in that clip of me playing guitar, I did actually have some underwear on, although it appeared I was butt naked. I wasn't. That was a video I made. That's one of the videos I've made on my iPhone for the reptilians, which the monkey men, like I say, the monkey men don't see any of those videos. But I'm talking on that phone all the time to the reptilians, and something I've been puzzled by, something that's drawn a lot of hatred towards me, I think, is being good on guitar. It pisses people off. If you're good on guitar, it pisses people off. I have no idea why. It seems to piss reptilians off. Jealous little bitches. I don't see it as a big deal, because I actually see the guitar as not that difficult of an instrument to play once you're given a few tricks. Now, the move that I was doing there is called trilling. I didn't even know the name of it till now. I just looked it up. But it's trilling. This guy's doing it on this video.
The other way? Right,
He's doing it. See that?
Right.
So all he's doing is using his index finger as an anchor point on the fretboard and then just hitting the string with his ring finger. And you can do it with your little finger as well. And you do it with your middle finger if you want. Just hitting the string, hammering on and pulling off repeatedly. But the way I got that sort of, I don't even know, it's like a finger tapping sound, to make it sound a bit cooler, was what I'll do is with the index finger on the fretboard, I'll like bar like 3 strings, and then I'll pop, 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 pop. So I'm barring string 1, 2, and 3. I'm holding string 1, 2, and 3. I'll then pop, 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 pop through the strings. You get what I mean? And it gives you a cool sound. And then I just threw in some double stops as well, I think. And I was doing some bends and stuff. I was doing some other little moves. Just improv, just messing around. But that's one move, trilling. You might want to look at that. It makes your solos sound a bit faster and stuff. If you want to sound fast. It's whether you want to. It's whether it fits the song. It's no good whacking a load of trilling in a song, and it doesn't really need to be there. It doesn't sound any good. Do you know what I mean? But it is a move that sounds cool, especially I think when you bar some of the strings, and then you could bar string 5, 4, and 3, and then do it through them, bam, 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 and then you can incorporate your little finger as well. So trilling, you might want to look that up. Just put on YouTube guitar trilling. But that guy's just doing it with a single string, which I don't think it sounds as good. When you just do it with 1 string, it still sounds good, and you might want to use that because it fits that solo. But then you really want to sound impressive, you bar the strings with your index finger and then trill through different strings, and then it sounds more impressive then, like what I was playing. So there's an idea for you in Guitar Lesson 8. And like I say, if you're a little kid with a small little weak hand, try not to get too discouraged. Hopefully as you get older you get a big strong hand, and then that'll make playing easier for you possibly. Because a lot of the little kids might be getting a bit discouraged, because they've got a little small hand to play the fretboard. So don't get discouraged is what I'm saying. Alright, anyway, that's the end of the video. And it's the end of the lesson, and I'll see you in the next one.